Okay, so a few more things I want to go over. KPIs and conversion windows, attribution windows, whatever you want to call them. So to start with, KPIs, key performance indicators, for those who don't habla. So here, key performance indicators, just so you know. Okay. So when we're looking at CPM, cost per million, which actually, like I said, stands for cost per 1,000 impressions. It depends on the objective. So if I'm running brand awareness ads, then I'm probably going to try to aim for something like $7 or less. That would make me happy. If I'm running conversion ads, I want $25 or less for CPM. Also, when we're talking about conversions, as I mentioned down here, that KPI is really on you, depending on your max cost per acquisition and what you can spend, what you're allotted to spend. All right. So if you have a product that sells for $7 and you spend $250 to get that, then it just doesn't make sense, right? Whereas if you're got a product that costs 10 grand and you spend $1,000 for it, then okay, maybe that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't still. I don't know. It depends on your business. So those two things for cost per click. Now, as we move forward, you have to remember Facebook is just very similar to Google AdWords, Bing ads, things like that. It's an auction-based system, right? So the more competition, the more it's going to cost. Now, you will get rewarded for the better offer that you have, the more engaging. Facebook likes to put ads in front of relevant audiences, good ads in front of relevant audiences. They'll reward you for that. So they'll make it cheaper. However, they're not going to make it so insanely cheap that they don't make any money. And as time goes on, there will be more people who will start, more companies that will start investing and advertising on Facebook. Thus, the price will go up for everybody. We've seen that happen just over the past 2 years, right? Where you used to be able to run ads and get engagement ads for less than a penny. Sometimes you still can get lucky with that, but for the most part, for engagement ads, I try to aim for like 50 cents. Okay. So, and that's the KPIs for engagement. So for cost per click, when we're talking about that right now, on average, I think we try to strive for about $3, and then we try to optimize to continue to bring that lower. Normally what we see for our really good campaigns that are running, we're able to get less than $1 per click, but that takes time. That'll take us a couple months to get that. For the most part, it's like when you first start, you start running campaigns, you start seeing your cost per click, you're going to see like $3-4. It's going to be a little crazy, and it really depends on your industry too. So if I'm targeting realtors or I'm targeting home, people looking to buy homes, it's going to cost me more than if I'm targeting, people looking for a sewing magazine. And yeah, we've done that. And so video view, the next thing, and this is why video view is so hot right now. This is why everyone's trying to do it, because it's so cheap. It is ridiculously cheap. So like I said, Facebook considers a video view 3 seconds minimum, okay? I don't know what you consider a video view. I don't necessarily, okay, cool, doesn't matter to me because I'm aiming for like 50% or 95% or 75%, somewhere in there. So usually we try to get a penny for a 3-second video view. That's kind of the goal. If we're spending more than that, then we'll look at the industry. If it doesn't make sense for the industry, then we'll like reevaluate the ads and the ad set, the audience, and the offer. And then for 10 seconds, obviously, I like to keep it within 4 or 5 seconds or less. If we continue to get 1 second for 10-second video views, that's great. Once you hit that 9 seconds, that's when you're going to get your top 20 percentile. And then moving on from there, you can do the math and then figure out what you're paying for 30-second video views, what you're paying for 50% video views or 75% video views, and whether that fits your budget and what you're looking to do. For CTR, click-through rate, for those who don't know what CTR is, but usually what we like to see is 2% or better. If we're not getting 2%, then we're going to try to change up the ad to see what we can do to get 2% or better. And that's what you're trying to optimize for. So when you're going through your priorities, right, you're going through optimizing for your creative, or optimizing for your headline, optimizing for your copy. These are all the things that you're looking at. And this is how you're determining optimization. Okay, so keep that in mind. Usually what you like to start out with is just you go from bigger to smaller, right? So start out with your CPM. and then your cost per click, and then your CTR, and then your conversions, or maybe your engagement, and then your conversions, or whatever it is that you're looking to do. And then, of course, split tests. Split tests the difference between running conversion campaigns and engagement campaigns, video views versus, other brand awareness, static images, just test across the board. And then relevance score. I don't know how many times I have done audits for or talked to people who all they're talking about is relevance score, and hey, I got an 8 relevance score, and how do I get it to 10? That's not the end all be all, right? So it's Facebook's system, yes. Do you get rewarded for having a higher relevance score? Yes. But at the same time, I've had campaigns that have a relevance score of 3 that do very well, and those were the winners over an 8 or a 9, believe it or not. So here's how I look at relevance score. I look at it as, if it's a 10, there's no more room for improvement. Whereas if it's like 7 or 8, there's room for improvement. I also look at it as, depending on my goals, are my goals being met? And if they are, I don't even worry about relevance score. If they're not being met and I want to determine, okay, how's my targeting? Then I'll go to relevance score. So if my relevance score is like a 2, then my targeting's got to be off. I got to fix something. I got to fix something on my targeting or my message and my offer. So that's really what I use relevance score for. Really nothing more than that. I don't let external stressors try to come and change my mode of thinking. Maybe this is just me. I don't know how you operate, but that's what I try to do. I try to stick with what I know and what I do very well, and I keep all the rest of the noise and the BS from trying to come in my head and screw everything up, right? Because then we could be going haywire with all these things that we're trying to test. So usually you use relevance score for, if things are going wrong, you can determine what you need to change based on your relevance score. So next step, attribution windows. I wanted to go over this. I feel like it's important. It may affect you. It may never affect you. So when you come in here, you can create your custom columns, okay? Part of creating those custom columns is, as soon as it loads here, right here, this attribution window. So by default, mine is showing me 28-day click, 1-day view. That means that they have clicked within 28 days or seen within 1 day, right? So let's take this off and just look at the difference, right? Let's do 1 day, 1 day. Or I guess let's just leave that off, okay? So you see how things change? So you have your value for 1 day click versus 1 day view. I know I'm starting to confuse myself here. Okay, so it's basically like they've seen the ad. They didn't necessarily click on it, but they saw it. Maybe they went to Google and searched it, or maybe they did something else, right? Or maybe they went to the page, then saw the ad, then went somewhere else. They never clicked on it, but this is where you see, okay, 3,500 buys, people who went, saw the ad and clicked on it, 5,000. So it's a $1,500 difference. There's a huge difference there, right? So we can even go into it as far as, difference. Let's just do a difference in 7 and 28 days, or how we could do 1, 7, and 28 days. Oops, I don't want this in there. Okay, so let's say I'm working on this. I'm the marketer in charge, or I'm the person in charge. I'm trying to see our results and see what happened and see what attributed to what, right? How did these ads do? How did they do today? How did they do this week? How did they do this month? So this is where I'll be able to see, okay, with the 1 day view, right? So this is 1, this is 7, this is 28. So 1 day it's 3,500, over 7 days 3,600, and over 28 days it's 5,800. So you can tell that some people took time to purchase. That means that there were other touches that were required, right? They did other things and they came back to it. This is important to know. Okay, it's important to know the sales cycle and the buyer's journey. This will help you determine that. Not only that, but if you're always looking at 1 day attributions, you're not seeing the big picture. You're not seeing exactly what's happening here. You can break this down in more in Google Analytics, but I would just highly suggest you take Google's free analytics course for that one, because it can get very complex and complicated. But in essence, I've worked with clients who they had 7 days to sell a product. And then I've worked with clients who it took 14 weeks before the bulk of that revenue came back. So it was important for us to be in their face over and over and over and over and over again over that period of time in order for them to purchase. Hell, even if you look at realtors, you look at Keller Williams, right? Gary Keller, the guy who wrote the book. They determined 33 times over a 12-month period in order to get that person's business as a buyer, as a home buyer. So keep that in mind. Be in front of people all the time. Obviously, change up the ads so you don't blind them, but it's important to just always be there.